Hey everyone, welcome to Impact History. Today, we're diving into feudal Japan, a land of emperors, samurai, and enough political intrigue to make your head spin. Buckle up because we're about to explore the Kamakura Shogunate, a period that dramatically reshaped the Japanese archipelago. From the late 12th to the early 14th century, the Kamakura Shogunate marked the rise of the samurai as a powerful ruling class and shifted the balance of power in Japan. We'll see how this military government grappled with internal conflicts, external threats, and left a lasting legacy on Japanese culture and identity. Let's get started. For centuries, the emperor held the symbolic heart of Japan, but true power often rested elsewhere. Enter Minamoto no Yoritomo, a name that's about to echo through the halls of Japanese history. Yoritomo wasn't an emperor, he was a skilled military leader, a shogun. See, Japan in the late 12th century was kind of like a medieval soap opera. You had noble families vying for power, and Yoritomo saw his chance amidst the chaos. He established the Kamakura Shogunate, a military government where the shogun, not the emperor, called the shots. This wasn't a complete overthrow, though. Think of it more like a power-sharing agreement, albeit one where the samurai were holding most of the cards. The emperor remained a figurehead, a symbol of tradition and continuity, while the shogun held the real reins of power. This dual system of government, with its delicate balance between the imperial court and the shogunate, would shape Japan for centuries to come. It wasn't always pretty, and it definitely wasn't stable, but it was a defining characteristic of Japanese governance. So, you've got a brand new military government. What's next? Well, if you're a savvy leader like Yoritomo's successors, you establish a legal framework, something to bring order to the land. Enter the Jōai Code, established in 1232. This wasn't just some dusty old legal document, it was the bedrock of samurai law and administration. It laid out everything: how samurai were supposed to behave, how disputes should be settled, and how the government should function. The Jōai Code wasn't big on abstract legal theory, it was all about practicality, about maintaining order and upholding the values of the samurai class. We're talking about loyalty, honor, martial prowess. These were the cornerstones of the code. And it wasn't just lip service. The Jōai Code had teeth. It gave the shogunate the legal muscle to enforce its rule and keep those unruly samurai in check. This emphasis on law and order, on a clear set of rules, helped to solidify the shogunate's authority and bring a measure of stability to Japan. But as with any system of government, there were always challenges lurking just around the corner. Okay, picture this. It's the 13th century, and the Mongol Empire, led by the legendary Kublai Khan, is on a roll. They've conquered vast swaths of Asia, and now their sights are set on Japan. Twice, in 1274 and 1281, massive Mongol fleets descended upon Japanese shores. The samurai, known for their prowess in land battles, now faced a new kind of enemy, one with advanced weaponry and terrifying tactics. The fighting was fierce, brutal, and for the Japanese, a desperate struggle for survival. But then, something extraordinary happened. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, powerful storms, later dubbed kamikaze or divine winds, smashed into the Mongol fleets, scattering their ships and forcing them to retreat. These storms weren't just a stroke of luck, they were seen as a divine intervention, a sign that the gods themselves favored Japan. The repelling of the Mongol invasions had a profound impact on Japanese identity, fostering a sense of national unity and the belief that Japan was, indeed, a divinely protected land. While the samurai were busy defending Japan from invaders, a quiet revolution was taking place in the realm of religion and culture. Zen Buddhism, with its emphasis on meditation, discipline, and self-reliance, found fertile ground among the warrior class. It wasn't just about finding inner peace. Zen aligned perfectly with the samurai ethos, emphasizing mental fortitude and a detached acceptance of death. Think of it as the ultimate form of mindfulness training for warriors facing constant danger. But the Kamakura period wasn't just about war and religion, it was also a time of great artistic flourishing. We see stunning advancements in architecture like the iconic temples of Kamakura and a blossoming of literature, with war tales and epic poems capturing the spirit of the age. This fusion of samurai values, Zen philosophy, and artistic innovation created a unique cultural landscape, one that continues to captivate and inspire to this day. The Kamakura Shogunate, for all its achievements, wasn't invincible. Remember those Mongol invasions? Well, they were costly, both in terms of lives and resources. Defending Japan from the Mongols put a massive strain on the shogunate's finances. And if that wasn't enough, internal divisions began to fracture the samurai class. Remember that whole loyalty and honor thing? Well, it turns out that power struggles and ambition can make even the most honorable samurai question their allegiances. By the early 14th century, the Kamakura Shogunate was on shaky ground. Rebellions flared up, ambitious rivals saw an opportunity, and in 1333 the once mighty shogunate crumbled, ushering in a new era of conflict and change in Japan. Okay, time for a little historical thought experiment. What if the Minamoto clan hadn't seized control? What if the imperial court had retained its grip on power? Would Japan look different today? It's impossible to say for sure, but we can make some educated guesses. First off, the aristocracy, those nobles who thrived under the emperor's rule, would have likely maintained their dominance. The samurai, while still a respected warrior class, might not have risen to such political prominence. Then there's the question of the Mongols. Without a unified military force like the one under the shogunate, Japan's defense might have been much weaker. Would the divine winds have been enough to save them then? It's a chilling thought. Culturally, a Japan still under imperial control might have been even more influenced by China. Remember, the imperial court was all about Chinese learning and culture. Would Japan have developed such a distinct cultural identity? Chapter 7. The Dragon's Shadow, a Japan under Mongol rule. Let's flip the script again. This time the kamikaze winds don't arrive, and Kublai Khan's forces conquer Japan. What happens then? Well, it wouldn't be pretty. Japan would likely have become a vassal state of the mighty Yuan dynasty, forced to pay tribute and obey the Khan's commands. The samurai, those proud warriors who had defined Japanese warfare, might have been sidelined, their role diminished in a new order dominated by Mongol military might. Imagine the resentment, the simmering rebellion brewing beneath the surface. Culturally, the Mongol conquest would have ushered in a wave of change. Chinese and Mongol practices, from language to fashion to religion, would have flooded Japanese society. Would Japan's unique cultural identity have survived such a dramatic upheaval? Let's rewind the clock once more, back to the Kamakura Shogunate. This time, imagine they were rolling in dough. Maybe they discovered a hidden gold mine, or perhaps they were just really good at collecting taxes. Whatever the reason, the money just keeps flowing. With a fat treasury, the Kamakura Shogunate could have addressed those pesky financial problems that ultimately led to their downfall. They could have strengthened their armies, appeased disgruntled samurai, and solidified their grip on power. A financially stable shogunate might have ruled for much longer, potentially delaying the rise of later shogunates and altering the course of Japanese history. Would Japan have experienced a more peaceful transition of power, or would those internal divisions have eventually boiled over anyway? Loyalty, as we've seen, was the glue that held the samurai world together. But what if that glue had lost its stickiness early on? What if samurai had started switching sides, pursuing their own ambitions instead of serving their lords? Well, for starters, Japan would have been even more chaotic. Imagine a land riven by constant warfare, with samurai clans battling each other for dominance. It would have been like the Sengoku period, but on fast forward, this fragmentation of power could have had a ripple effect throughout Japanese history. Would a unified Japan have emerged at all? Or would it have remained a patchwork of warring states, vulnerable to outside influence and conquest? The Kamakura Shogunate might have fallen in 1333, but its impact on Japan echoed through the centuries. It laid the groundwork for Japan's feudal system, a system that would shape the country's social, political, and military landscape for centuries to come. The samurai, elevated to a position of power during the Kamakura period, would continue to play a pivotal role in Japanese society. their values of honor, loyalty, and martial prowess leaving an indelible mark on the national character. And let's not forget about culture, the art, architecture, and literature of the Kamakura period, infused with Zen philosophy and samurai aesthetics, would continue to inspire and influence Japanese artists and thinkers for generations to come. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our whirlwind tour of the Kamakura Shogunate. We've seen the rise of the samurai, the Mongol invasions, the influence of Zen Buddhism, and the lasting legacy of this pivotal period in Japanese history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into feudal Japan, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more history adventures. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next historical escapade. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.